Yeah, sure.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. So, today we have Kiran and them with us, and Kiran is transforming the AI hype into operational velocity. With a background in e commerce and fintech product leadership, Kiran helps global organizations navigate the disruptions of AI economy with confidence. Her mission is to reshape tech leadership by creating space for innovation, empowering executives to deploy AI that amplifies human talent rather than replacing it. She teaches leaders how to shift left on opportunity, risk, and ROI. So we are excited, Kiran, for your session, and I look forward to have an insightful session. And I'm sure our audience will have a lot to learn from you today. Over to you. Thank you.
Uh, Thanks for the invite, and I'm so excited to be here. Um, yeah, I like a great introduction for myself. And today I wanted to share something which is not being discussed that often. It is about bridging the gap between leadership and execution. So let me just start sharing my screen. Um, can you all see my screen?
Yeah, it's visible.
Okay, so the topic is about AI first workforce and how to design an executive strategy for designing that. A little bit about me before I start. I am a founder at Calitrix Intelligence. I just started this company this year and I'm working as an AI strategist. I have nearly 20 years experience and past 1 year I spent a lot of time upskilling myself in AI and doing my own research on different toolings and how companies are adopting AI. And with that work, I also try to come up with my own framework. I named it Space. I think I'll give you a glimpse of what that framework is about. Basically, trying to bring strategic alignment for AI initiatives in companies. So my career journey over the past 20 years has been like I've worked in several different roles, including as a Java developer, and I worked as a quality assurance engineer as well, also as a product ops lead. Currently, I'm working as an AI strategist in my own company. So I have worked on web technologies where things were like monolith systems and we used waterfall methodologies back then. Also, it was mostly enterprise applications which had like yearly releases, like every year some hot fixes or some minor releases. The releases took a lot of time, like for testing, and the process was very manual back then. We also had client server architecture where we used to install database servers, web application servers ourselves and maintain those on our machines. So I moved on to mobile technologies during the year 2010 when iOS and Android apps like became hot at the time, and we moved on from monolith to microservices. Also, like I got moved into agile practices like following Scrum and sprints, agile sprints where we were delivering features for B2C, basically customers. Also, like I did not work too much on B2B and D2C, but got some exposure to those applications. Worked on mobile devices like iOS and Android, also like wearables like watches. And yeah, I think until this time, we all had fingertip interactions with the devices. And we used to work on programming languages which were like not easy for everyone to pick up. So last year, when I started working with I realized that we can actually have natural ways of working. Like I don't have to be very technically diving deep into getting some things done. So assistants, I've used assistants as well as agents. I think I will cover a few of them here. And in my recent project, I used Google Cloud Platform where I tried to unify data. Like there was data fragmentation in my company, and we tried to unify and produce some visualization dashboards so that everyone is able to gain insights. And I've used Gemini for that, which was really helpful for me to write SQL queries. Like I learned how to write SQL queries back in the web days, but I think with Gemini, it became so easy for me to ask natural language questions, get back SQL queries, and do things like data analysis and visualization using AI. I've been learning continuously all through. And as before I get further into this topic, I just want to have a disclaimer here that today we are going to talk about a framework which is more like concept related, and I'm not going to dive deep into any particular tool. I hope this was conveyed. And the agenda for today is like how AI is impacting on different ways of working. Everyone is talking about tools, but the thing is, it isn't just about getting good at tools, how we interact with each other and how we interact with these tools when we are working in a team. This is going to have a huge impact on the success rates of our AI initiatives. So AI is already like having great results improving productivity at a personal level, but we still have to see how we are efficient and productive when it comes to working as a human AI team or human AI team working with other teams as well. There is a lot of dynamics going on there, and we haven't even like dive deep into those areas. So I'm just going to touch on the impact in the ways of working and how AI is actually changing the very DNA of the workforce. Like in first workforce, I think the way we work is going to be quite different because things will be taking very less time to implement and get things out. But the thing is, they can be very risky and challenging if not tested thoroughly. So everyone has to be very mindful of what they're delivering, and it is not like one team like in the traditional ways. We used to have QA teams where they used to provide some assurance if something is good to release or not, or we used to have pipelines where things were automatically tested, and the green signals are followed by teams to deliver something. But with the speed, at the speed how things are changing, delivering can be like easy, but risks are high if we are not being mindful of things. So I think this is changing the DNA of the AI first workforce. Like I said, AI has a lot of challenges, and some challenges are actually prohibiting people from uh, going ahead with their AI ambitions. We will touch on those. And finally, I will introduce the space framework that I have been working on. So up until a couple of years ago, or even now, like there are some companies which are still continuing to work in the same old ways of working. What was the old way of working? Like until I think I might have stopped using Google that much, but I still go back to Google because they have put AI mode. But the way we used to interact was mostly with typing text, like it was our fingers and eyes, like to see what the computer is giving back, the output, and we need to have our hands working. I think that was the only way we could communicate with the computer. And also, like we had to do everything ourselves, like implementing code. we had to do things ourselves. But with AI, we have got to a stage where things are done for us, especially in the agentic AI world, because agents now have the capabilities of reasoning, decomposing tasks, and accomplishing goals by actually taking decisions by themselves. That kind of capabilities are now possible, and we are able to interact with them through multi modalities like speech, and the computers are able to understand images as well, videos. So, a lot of things can be done for us through agentic workflows. And what's changing regarding the ways of working? I think in the traditional workforce, even now, we still have a lot of roles that have very clear job descriptions, and everyone working in a team has scope of like what they are responsible for and what they are accountable for. Like user researchers would do research on competitors or market, and what are the pain points that can be that are still not solved. And based on the research they do, like it could take several weeks, in even now, like people, if they are not using any AI tools, it is a very time consuming activity. And it is also cognitively very it's very cognitive load for the people doing research without using any tools. And they would provide the insights to product managers, who would then kind of find what opportunities exist and what problems can be solved through the product features. So they would come up with all the features that can be provided and what should be prioritized. This is also something, a brainstorming activity with a lot of cognitive load on product managers and skills needed in prioritization. And this also used to take a lot of time. Even now, it if people are not using any AI tools, if they are working in a traditional way, they are taking a lot of time on this. And after the insights are clear and prioritized, then the product designers would come up with user interfaces and user experiences based on the company's brand values and following some guidelines, which is then passed on to developers, and for delivering it will go into operations. So as you can see, there is so much handoff happening and manual work in every little step all through the product life cycle. There is so much of human interaction, and people also spend a lot of time on meetings for especially for refining the stories or brainstorming something, and developing some solutions if they are not working out, debugging and working out some other solutions. All these were quite expensive, time consuming, and resource intensive. And also, after doing all this effort, it was still like risky whether something could work or not. Like people are experimenting with all these things. Customer support, finally, if the customers are having any issues, they were handling tons of requests from customers to solve these problems. All these were all manual before, without any AI tools, and it was not scaling as much, and a lot of customer satisfaction rate would go down because the handling is not that efficient, and the processes involved in all these were also not so efficient or automated. So there are so many friction points within this whole cycle. And the descriptions that we have, they were clearly defined over time in the traditional workforce. We realized that these pain points have been there, but we did not have proper solution up until now. But what is happening right now because of the AI capabilities, like we have multi-modalities open up, like we can have conversations with the machines, like instead of typing we can actually talk, which is actually more efficient in the sense some people are very good in expressing themselves vocally, and they are very fast, like instead of typing on the keyboard, so it is improving efficiency there as well. And audio, like now for people uh, who are unable to type or some disabilities, I think some new possibilities have opened up with audio as well. um, so computers started understanding images and videos, which was like limited in the past, like uh, scanning of things like KYC, like for example in bank user cases where some things needs to be scanned, they used to have some programming algorithms and that would do that. But now the computers, like models, are able to scan these things and analyze the videos as well, and we can actually have natural conversations. I think if you have used Notebook LM, you might have explored some of these features, how they are understanding different videos. Like you can upload a YouTube video, ask questions to Notebook LM, and you can upload some images, and you can generate refined images out of them. So you can do a lot of things. Now the research, which is also like used to be very time consuming, the data used to be unstructured, like it could be documents, loads of data, and not every data is structured. Like some of the data could be semi structured in the sense it is captured in like XML format or table format or CSVs. Like there are tons of formats that data can be saved. So text documents and Word documents, like all these are unstructured data. In the past it was difficult to like go through all these documents, but with AI now we can actually analyze the unstructured, semi-structured, structured data efficiently, and we can synthesize the information in less time. The models that we have, they actually can classify information, like if we are having applications which are data intensive, and if we have to classify some information whether it belongs to particular category, such kind of things are possible with AI now. These are applied in personalization and recommendations, like in marketing, especially if someone wants to run campaigns, they can actually segregate the customers based on particular categories, like who is high value customer, and like how are they behaving. We can categorize the customers using different models and applying techniques there. So the models have given us these capabilities to reason and decompose. Mm, Output can be generated in different formats as well. Like we can tell the model what kind of output we want uh, according to our needs. And finally, autonomous and agentic actions, like the agents can take decisions based on the goals that we provide them. They can take these actions, and we can have control, but we can give the control to the agents as well. It depends on how we configure them. So the way we are working with is changing in the AI world. Like previously it was completely human interactions, now it is moving towards AI agentic interactions. I mean, we are also involved in interacting with AI, but the way we work is completely changing. This is like changing the DNA of the workforce. And it's like less about the rigid roles like we had particular role doing particular job, like product managers responsible for defining PRDs, product requirement documents, and product designers are responsible to come up with prototypes. Now it is possible that if product managers have some kind of idea, they can actually design prototypes by themselves, but it is not a fully ready prototype. They can have a discussion with the product designers, handing over the prototype that they have in hand. Instead of giving a document, product requirement document, they can actually have a prototype ready for the product designers and hand it over, and product designers can refine it further. This can be a team collaboration activity, but reducing the amount of time people are spending on these activities. So the job descriptions, like they are going to be like not very rigid, and uh, we do not have to be like too good at programming. Like product managers, if they are a little bit technical, they can actually use the tools to get things done. And also, like we are moving towards systems rather than just feature delivery, and moving away from people management and going towards agentic uh, agent management. So it's like more about like creative skills, thinking end to end systems. Like in the past, we traditional ways we were working only on specific focus areas, but now it is like end to end systems. Also, people can be more strategic instead of just doing some tasks that were assigned to them. They can be more strategic and more biased towards executing things. Like, focus is most on impact driven outcomes. Despite these capabilities, people are seeing a lot of failures. So, this is a problem that a lot of companies are facing. According to research, like in 2025, it was recorded that like around 95% of pilots they actually are not successful, which is not at all good. But despite the small success rate, the leadership teams are actually seeing 1.5 times increase in the revenue growth. Even with such minor success rate, if there is a revenue growth, imagine increasing the success rate much better and the ROI achieved. So, how can we actually improve the success rates in the companies for making sure that the experiments can actually be exploited in real production? And why does this problem happen? Like, why do they fail? Before that, I wanted to do an interactive session here. I'd like to ask how many of you can see circles in this visual? If you could actually, uh, I don't know, like, Varun, can we actually see if people can?
Yeah,
Uh,
people can type in their choices in chat box,
okay,
or maybe they can raise their hands if they want to speak. I can unmute them.
okay. Yeah, I'm just going to give you a couple of seconds. If you can, how many of you see circles in this? Oh, all right. That's great, Poonam. Great observation there, because a lot of people struggle to find circles. Of course, I can see them very clearly. Once you see them, you can't unsee them. So, yes, let's, yeah. Do you see the circles now if you haven't seen them before? There are 16 circles. Very good if you spotted them. And quite often, most people actually are blind spotted and they only see rectangles. So, in a traditional workforce, people work in teams where they are kind of working on specific channels like devices, iOS, Android device, mobile web, desktop web, or smart devices. And teams are working on front end or back end. Like they have clear definition of like where they are working. And people are also working on areas like infrastructure to make sure that whatever they are delivering is like reliable, scalable, and it is also secure. Privacy laws like in UK, like we have GDPR. People are very conscious about how the data is being saved and sent across. Uh, so there are laws you need to, if a company is like having a very good brand, they can't ignore the privacy and compliance related stuff, legal stuff as well, because if something goes wrong, they can be fined and it can cost them not just money but also brand reputation. And other teams, like everyone is working in their little bubble and they are focused on their own things using their own tools. And quite often it's difficult to understand how the collaboration is happening among these teams. There are like binding forces that actually help these teams work together, even though we do not see them. And they are like shared assets, like they are sharing knowledge. Not everyone knows everything. In some workplaces, we use Atlassian, Confluence, and we use Slack for communication. So we are coordinating with each other, collaborating with each other, and using a lot of things like we share together. These are like assets and very crucial for delivering anything. And all these assets are like knowledge, best practices, domain expertise, methodologies. Like in development, like people follow agile methodologies to deliver things in 2 week sprints or 1 week sprints. And then everyone has some kind of skill set very specific to their role, and they have their own strengths. Skills and strengths are different. Like you can learn skills. Like if I give you a tool, maybe like lovable, you can learn how to use it. But if I ask you to develop an application, like mobile application with that, I think it goes back to your strengths. Like, are you good at understanding what is important in developing a mobile application and then how you design it? Those are like even the user experience. Like, you might be having some talents that are unique to you, and it's something that differentiates you. And we also share like systems, I mean, pipelines. Like when we are delivering any features, we use the DevOps pipelines. So everyone is sharing those things. And tools are like depending on what kind of task you are doing, the tools are also different. Processes, I think every company might be having some unique processes they might be following. For example, I was working at Trainline. They used to have accreditation process where they used to comply with the rail delivery group. Like there are some regulations that need to be followed, and we used to have some process before delivering anything that is related to payments. We need to make sure that feature is tested thoroughly, not just internally, but also we get approval from the external, like the RDG group, rail delivery group, that this is acceptable and can be actually deliver to the real customers. So these processes can depend on company, what kind of work they do. So they are like internal, they could be internal processes. And yeah, every team might be following some kind of frameworks for prioritization or other specific tasks. They could be having templates like PRDs. We might be having some templates. Every company might be having different templates for different teams. So these are like shared across. So these are the binding factors. And when it comes to AI, what is happening is that there are some blind spots, especially related to the binding forces. We are seeing that the teams are doing their job, but how they are doing it with cross collaboration, that is not very clearly visible to everyone. So there are some blind spots there. We might be interacting with AI, but when we are interacting with AI, at the same time, we are also interacting with other teams as well, which are using AI. We do not have any best practices as yet. How do we interact with each other when AI is coming into play? The tools are coming into play. And this is where we have a lot of blind spots. And this is where the workforce tends to struggle. When things are not well defined, every team might be doing it in their own way, and not everyone will be efficient. So these are not captured anywhere, and without capturing anything, we cannot improve anything. So if there is inconsistency from team to team, how they are using the tools, and people are not aware of the best usages, we cannot do much. So these are kind of becoming blind spots to the leadership team, and they are actually hampering the adoption of AI. With the workforce, there is a huge overwhelm. Like every tool that gets released, it's just like putting extra cognitive load on the workforce. Like, how much should they learn? And if they should invest their time in learning an AI tool, because not every tool is meant for everyone. I mean, let's take an example of NA10. Some people find it very useful, and I would say if someone is a bit technical, they find NA10 to be kind of like easy, but it is not the case with everyone. Like some people find it very difficult because for them it feels like too technical. The thing is, NA10, like you are kind of dealing with APIs. If you are comfortable with APIs and interacting with external systems, if you are exposed to that kind of working, you will find it very comfortable. But if you have never worked on like APIs and interacting with other external systems, it is difficult to understand what's going on. It's like a black box, even though we have some visual representation of the workflow. So it all depends on your use case and on your need, and not everyone needs to learn every AI tool. Everyone needs to understand what exactly is their need for the tool. This is not something very clear whenever a tool comes out. People are exploring the tools, which is great to learn, but if you're trying to get some things done out of it, you need to know what exactly are the limitations of it and how far can you go with the tool. So this workforce overwhelm, like different people using different tools, is also causing some problem. And one of those problems is AI, shadow AI, where people are using their own tools. Company might not have approved them, but they are not openly discussing about these things. Some of the tools could be risky because they can actually leak data if the privacy and security are not considered seriously. And this can actually be a problem in a company. So, workforce doing their own things with their favorite tools and leadership having these blind spots is causing a disconnect, and it is actually causing challenges in adopting AI and having success rates for the AI ambitions. There is a huge misalignment between the top down vision and the bottom up implementation efforts. And currently, we are still trying to understand how we can work collaborating with AI, like human plus AI collaboration. We do not have best practices as yet, and any team that needs to evolve over time goes through these four stages. One is like forming stage where they understand what is the scope of their work. Now it is actually AI and human collaboration, which was never the case before. And I think everyone will have to overcome some challenges in this forming stage where they will figure out that some things are not working out and these need to be captured somewhere. I think there is a long way to go. I mean, it could take an year or 2 years, depending on how companies are proactively making sure that they are adopting and evolving with the changes happening in AI. I'll not go deep into storming where the challenges are actually discovered and people figure out the optimal ways of working with the humans as well as AI teams. And once these are sorted, then we get into the performing stage where we can actually have clarity on return on investment as like hybrid teams. But currently, we are still in this forming stage, and we need to have high agency in making sure that we can efficiently work with agents. To improve the success rate of the AI initiatives, this is the framework that I have created. It's called SPACE. It's the space of alignment between leadership and the workforce so that we can actually adopt AI in a safe way and see that we are actually getting good returns on investment. So every letter stands for something. S is for strategizing the AI workforce needs. Basically, making sure that the workforce is ready for AI. People, lot of professionals are already investing a lot of time in upskilling in AI, but we cannot take it for granted that everyone is at the same level. There could be different variations, like someone might be good at picking up these tools proactively and someone might be struggling. So we need to have a way of ensuring that we are enabling the employees to the desired level. And the other thing is, everyone is talking about agentic AI, coming up with use cases for that. But I would say that there are a ton of things that can be automated before they can actually be powered by AI. Deterministic software foundations that we laid out using the traditional software development are still very important because we have a lot of control in it. With agentic AI, the probabilistic nature can actually uh, increase the risk rate and also failure rates. So before we put anything into the agentic space, it is a very good practice to make sure that we have some control through deterministic software foundation. And that is by doing things in a well defined way. Like some things were done manually, if it can be automated without using agentic AI, those should be given priority before we actually play with models and do something that our agents are responsible for it. So the dual layer AI strategy is about like making sure that we have a bedrock of solid deterministic software, and once we have good control on that and we know that it is working perfectly, then we should think about putting agentic AI layer on top of it, not straightly jump into agentic AI stuff. And we also need to have a clear purpose of why we are putting agentic AI, because a lot of times people are jumping into developing agentic solutions without really thinking too much about its usage. Let's say I want to send an email to hundreds of people or thousands of people. Do I have to use an agent for that? Can anyone answer that question?
You can type in your responses in chat, or maybe you can raise your hand. Okay.
Yeah, we don't need to use agentic stuff if we have to send a mail to thousands of people at scale. Reason is we don't want to use a lot of tokens generating different kind of emails for each of them. Like you can have a template, and in that template, if the mail is addressed for same purpose, we can actually use the template and some placeholders. Let's say I'm just showing one of the templates that I have used in the past, for one of my N8N workshops, I actually used a template which is HTML format. I mean, I used the document for HTML and just designed it and improved it a bit so that the formatting is good. And I'm using this as a template for sending out email. And if you can see, I have some placeholders in here, like the recipient name, and I have placeholders for the recording link, slides, LinkedIn profile, and something like a badge form link to submit some form. So having a placeholder, having a template, and using this one to send out email at scale, this can be automated. I do not need to have an agent to generate a different type of email for everyone, because it's not an efficient way of using tokens. So I would go for automation in that case. And let's say, when do we want to use agentic stuff? Like there are some people who are at a different stage. Like there are multiple stages of users. Some are at learners, and some are at advanced level. I would still go for automation because I can still find the logic. Now, if I were to do some marketing campaign, and the marketing campaign would have personalization, one person receiving information about the products they like in Amazon, someone is interested in buying clothes, and some other person is interested in buying gadgets. Now, there are tons of millions of users having their own interests. If I were to actually send them right kind of uh, advertisements about different products, I would definitely need to check their profile, what they like, and based on that, I need to show the ads accordingly for the products that they would be interested in. So, for that kind of personalization, I cannot just automate it using simple logic. It gets quite complicated. This is where agentic stuff can actually be beneficial because it can reason based on the user preferences. It can come up with the things that are very applicable for that person. So, marketing related or ads related recommendations, we can use agentic AI because the scale at which those decisions are being made to show different things is like too much to solve using a simple logic. So, for that kind of personalization, agentic AI is really great. And yeah, the other thing is like when we are implementing any AI related features, let's suppose someone is working in legal department. They are developing some features related to legal customers. As a software developer, you do not know about certain things applicable in legal terms. And if you are developing something like natural conversation user interface where people are asking some questions related to legal, whether it is giving right answers, wrong answers, as developers, we might not understand them. So, this is where you would need some domain experts, and especially in different specialized domains like healthcare and uh, legal. So, we need to have some experts we can collaborate with, and that because those experts do not have technical fluency. So, when we are actually strategizing these workforce needs, especially developing the AI related stuff, we need to make sure like what exactly is needed for the workforce to implement things successfully. They understand when do they need to automate, when do they need to implement agentic stuff, do they have that kind of clarity, and if they need any domain experts, how do they collaborate with them? Such kind of things need to be strategized well in advance so that whenever teams are working together, they are more efficient. Next comes the planning, where it is led by problems. I mean, there are like tons of problems with AI adoption. Currently, the biggest problem is with the cultural change, like the way we are working is like changing dramatically, and people are struggling with that cultural change. So they might be upskilling by themselves, but at a company level, leadership to needs to do something about encouraging them to learn things that are heavily used within the team or in the company, not just let people choose the tools they want to experiment and carry on with the way they want to work. There should be some kind of like uh, uh, work done together. So this kind of effort needs a lot more importance, and It's just like some rule, just like, I mean, it is not like exactly 70-20-10, but it gives you the gist that prioritize people and processes first. Why processes? Internally, we have seen that the process that we follow, like there are so many handoffs happening, manual work done, and lot of cross team collaboration happening through meetings and stuff. All these processes are very slow. If they can be automated, if it, I mean, this is where the automation shines, and that can actually improve the velocity of teams doing things. It's like, I think with the latest AI stuff, it's like everyone got a Ferrari, but if we are asked to ride in the regular roads, we won't be able to uh, use it to the full efficiency of that new Ferrari. So it basically, the infrastructure needs to be also changed accordingly. Basically, processes are something that can improve the efficiency of executing things, and if they can be automated to pay with the pace at which the AI is changing, they will actually help unlock people doing their things more efficiently. So this is a very significant part that leadership need to play a big role in bringing change here. Technology, I think we are already on top of it, like trying to catch up with it. And I mean, internally, if we tools need to be updated as well. Uh, I think Google Cloud Platform, Azure, Amazon Web Services, like they are coming up with their own ecosystem for enabling the AI capabilities. And if people are using tools that are not in these ecosystems supported by the companies, I think again that is a blocker. So leadership team have to make sure that the infrastructure within the company is allowing the technology deployments, whatever happening, are being supported with the AI advancements. And finally, the algorithms, like models and fine tuning. I think these are some things we are trying to use for great performance. At this stage, we are not too much worried about token consumption, but as we get into a lot of usage, we have to be mindful about these models and fine tuning of the models as well. But the top priorities are like improving the processes internally and enabling people to adopt AI through cultural mindset shift and training and improving the infrastructure. A stands for alignment of the AI ambitions. We all, and especially in any medium to big size company, we have all hand meetings where every team shares a glimpse of what is happening in their team. So it isn't just about the old ways now. I think as we move into the AI space, we need to make sure that we are having alignment on the AI initiatives happening, because some companies are dedicating a team for doing AI tasks and they are doing it in solo, and others do not know what exactly is happening. That doesn't help. There should be awareness of what kind of work is being done on the AI side so that employees feel comfortable with it. And if they have anything to raise concerns, or if they are not sure about some things like data privacy or security related stuff, they can actually voice out those concerns. And there is this alignment. So, for AI ambitions, if we are all working towards that alignment, just like I mentioned about shared assets in the traditional ways of working, where people kind of share their knowledge, frameworks, templates, and all that, in the new AI world, there are new things to be shared, especially some things related to prompts, because prompts like if someone is developing a prompt for a model, these are reusable and they can be refined over time. They are shareable assets. Similarly, like frameworks, like if someone is designing the agentic workflows, these frameworks are also reusable. Everything software like people are developing these days is becoming like modular and scalable and actually shareable. That's why like external teams are able to share their things, and we are able to use them through the concept called MCP, model context protocol, where we are like connecting with the external world. So we don't have to develop everything from scratch. If something is already available somewhere externally, we can also use them, of course, after doing due diligence on security of such systems. And if someone has some kind of agent already implemented, they can also be shared. According to Google Cloud reports, like around 52% of agentic AI systems are already like running uh, in the production. C stands for like compounding the AI ROI. This is something related to culture in the company. That culture is nurtured through how we contribute, how we communicate with each other within a team and across the teams, and how we collaborate with each other. The blind spots, the binding forces of the teams where we do the cross functional collaboration, where we are not like putting in that much effort, like that can actually have a very compounding impact on giving AI ROI. And internally we do a lot of like processes like we start with research, and then we develop prototypes. After making sure that those prototypes are uh, uh, proving that there is market value, then we develop, release the product. After releasing the features, we monitor whether they are being used properly, adopted properly. If there are any issues in these features, we fix them. We also get feedback through various resources, like from customers, we seek feedback through applications, also through other surveys, and we analyze them, and we continuously do this. It's not like we do it once and done, but it is a continuous iterative process we do. And with AI, we are actually also investing our time on AI engineering, like using the models and coming up with some best practices. With the risks that are coming, we are ensuring that we have guardrails and governance in place. This is where, again, like it is not just the responsibility of the team, but we need to have proper direction on like on the guardrails and governance. Leadership team has to make sure that we have right policies and awareness of these policies across the company. They are being taken care of, and they need to educate the workforce on all these aspects so that everyone is aligned with it. And you might have, I don't know how many of you have heard about golden data set, but if you think about like a product like Amazon, it sells different products and we use different features. There is always like the different range of use cases, like how people are using Amazon features. And we, if we have a whole collection of that use cases, we can call it as a golden data set. And this is not like an exhaustive thing, like every possible scenario, but the main things that have to be like there in a product, it's like captured, and that can be tested uh, by automated testing. Like we need to make sure we do have golden data set for that. In AI, like especially this is important because there is a high chances of failure, and having automated tests, we call them evaluations, and for that we need to have golden data set. And CI/CD pipelines, on top of it, we also need to have continuous monitoring, continuous feedback, and continuous optimization. Why this optimization? Because models are coming, like changing every now and the prompts need to be optimized, and there are always like some things that can be improved. So these things come into picture, like continuously optimizing how the things are implemented. The other things that come into picture is like how the systems are transparent, because people need to know how their information is being processed, whether it is ethical and if it is responsible. Like we should also be able to explain it to things. If audits happen, there should be some audit log we can show, so that everything is like maintainable and explainable. So all these things, additional things, come into picture with AI, and it is difficult to scale without thorough making sure that everything is working properly. So you pilot it on a small project, and once it is successful, then you scale it to other teams. Like marketing team experimented with something with a particular prompt, then they can actually share that resource to other teams, and they can improvise on top of it and keep optimizing that, and accordingly other teams can actually use it and scale the successes across the company. Finally, for empowering the AI workforce, it's like a three-stage approach. In traditional ways of working, we have test environments like dev environment, staging environment, and finally production. Before we push anything into production, we make sure that some things are tested thoroughly in the local dev environment before we actually test it with other teams changes in the staging environment. And once everything is fine, only then we push into the final production. That kind of approach should also be followed for AI related experiments. Like you first explore some things using some tools, like if it is a new tool has come, or maybe you are trying out a new model, like model with a different reasoning capabilities, performance with the greater performance. You explore how it is doing, and if you see some return on investment, that it is actually improving the efficiency or bringing some value, then you actually put it for a use case. Like let's say a use case internally where you are improving the um, process of debugging issues and fixing the bugs. If something is actually analyzing, reverse engineering the issues, fixing them, and automatically like pushing those bug fixes, it is efficiently doing it. You experimented with it, and now you can actually exploit it in the real production environment, where if any issues happen in the production environment, some bugs, like it detects them, analyzes the bugs internally, and makes sure that it is tested thoroughly within that process, applies the bug fixes, and checks again if that bug fix is working, and then send it to production. So you can try small, and if it is working, then you can actually exploit that process to other improve the scope of that process to other areas as well. It can be even like customer agents trying to solve customer issues. They are trying to resolve some issues. If something you have tested is working to resolve issues, you make sure that you scale it across after seeing that it is doing the job. So whatever you're doing, first of all, you're exploring it, then experimenting in sandbox test environments. Like we cannot experiment in production environments. We need to have a safe space where we run these experiments. So these environments should be there specifically designed for the purpose of exploring and experimenting. Just like we used to have test environment, staging environment in the traditional ways of working. So ensuring all these things is really important, and that's what creates a space of alignment between the leadership team, who is actually giving the directions, like what are the AI ROI goals. They are focused on the business goals, and that is clear for the workforce. And those are the North Star, like how the workforce should make sure that they are working towards those ROI goals. And they are using that leveraging AI as per the company guidelines and policies. And everyone is aware of what is happening because there is alignment and there is awareness of what is going on. And the teams, they are evolving over time. It is a learning journey as well. We do not have best practices as yet how teams should be. As humans, we might have nailed it how to work as a team, but now we need to have that agency to make this team of AI and humans work successfully. If something is not working, we should openly discuss about the challenges with other teams, and there should be a space where we can discuss these challenges. If someone has nailed it, they can share their best practices, like having some lunch and learn sessions, brown bag sessions, and having a culture of learning from each other through this evolution is only going to help create that space of alignment. And we are no more just thinking about our little features, we are talking about systems, because if someone is implementing something like product managers are giving some prototypes to designers, something is not right in the prototype and it is carried into the design. That design also did not catch anything wrong, and it goes on. The impact of that mistake is exponential. Fixing that issue can be huge. So you might be delivering it very fast, but in a wrong direction. So everyone has to actually play a role in making sure that whatever is handed over to the next level across the system is right. Every step, it has to be thoroughly checked, and everyone is responsible. AI transformation is actually a shared responsibility. It's not like We might not have like accountability or responsibility for one particular thing, but we would still have a shared responsibility of the whole system, because it's impossible for one person or one team to make sure that everything is working fine. So we need to think at the systems level, not just at the feature level. How does it pay off? This framework basically is addressing the alignment between the execution, strategy and execution. So once you have this alignment, you are sure that you are at least going in the right direction. And this can actually drive the ROI. The speed to value also improves because we know that we are traveling in the same direction, in the aligned way. And once everything is aligned, it is something that can be sustainable and it becomes a competitive advantage, because with AI, it's easy to copy features and the applications and stuff. But when it comes to ways of working, it is not something easy to copy. And if someone actually nails this ways of working in the AI era, if they are being AI first, proactive, and everyone showing agency in making sure that they are aligned, that actually is going to be a competitive advantage for the company. People might be working in silos, but alignment is really crucial for long term success. And we don't see ROI just like that. I mean, it's not like it will be visible in the near future. It can take an year or so, or maybe less, but still, it's a compounded return on investment. And according to research, 74% of our executives report positive ROI within 12 months when there is strategic alignment between the leadership and vision and workforce capability. Basically, in the current situation where a lot of mass layoffs happening, people losing trust on whether their job is secure or not, they're like not sure what the AI ambitions are for their company, and they are employees are doing shadow AI where they are just using their own tools, which might not be safe for the company, and the leadership doesn't know about it. All these misalignments lead to failures. That's one of the biggest reasons why a lot of failures happen. And if there is alignment, we can address those failures and improve the success rate. That is the payoff that space provides. So I have just given a glimpse of each of these elements. I mean, these there are so many other dimensions. I think I will need to dive really deep with very specific examples. Today, I just wanted to give you a glimpse of this framework, what it is trying to address, what is the problem space for this, because tools is not the only thing that will be changing everything uh, drastically. Ultimately, we all have to work together by proper alignment, and the tools we use should also be aligned with our needs. Like, there are tons of tools, which one are you picking? It depends. And also it should cater to the team needs as well, not just individual needs. So it will take time, but having a strategy is important. For the AI first workforce to be successful, I find these things as truly crucial. Like, it isn't just about employees being capable with AI, And I think a lot of professionals are already putting in a lot of effort in upskilling. They are doing good, I think, but we cannot take it for granted. There are some people who are still lagging behind, and if they are still in the company, I think it's a good practice to bring them into this journey, not alienate them, because after all, we are all working towards like company goals, not individual interests. And we also have to nail the way we are going to work with AI. This was not something done before. We are evolving and we are just in the forming stage. There is a long journey ahead and we have a lot of things to learn. I think companies will share some of their best practices over time, and we need to keep learning from such best practices as well. Finally, company capability with AI and the leadership enabling their employees to be like using the tools that are like standardized within the company and providing a safe, psychologically safe environment where they can feel like comfortable exploring and experimenting with different tools. And it's okay if some things are failing, but most important thing is you learn something out of that failure. And there should be some ways of measuring like why something's failed, what is the learning out of it, and how do you share those learnings with others so that others do not repeat that mistake. Everything has become like being democratized. Like it's not like someone has done something wrong and then can keep that mistake to themselves. They can actually share those things with others so that they can help other teams get better. And this is how we can evolve the way we are going to work as human AI teams. These are some tools that I personally use. Like I use Gemini, Notebook LM. Gemini, like ChatGPT, kind of like it's just another brainstorming application for me. In fact, when I opened my company, I brainstormed a lot of ideas using Gemini, using Google AI Studio. I also use ChatGPT, but basically it is gaining different perspectives. As a solopreneur, I do not have much access to people in the sense I do not know whom to reach out to. So I've been spending a lot of time on Gemini, ChatGPT, asking for things that I kind of like have no clue about, and I could manage registering my own company. And I developed my own website by myself using Lovable. Um, Also, to try out, explore some applications like how to design PRDs. I use Chat PRD. And apart from NA10, I use NA10 for designing agentic workflows, but I also tried out Mind Studio. So I keep exploring these tools for learning purposes, as well as if I find them useful, I kind of use them in my personal use case. Like in my own company, I've used Lovable and yeah, Chat PRD, Gemini. So I would like to give a brief look into my site that I developed. I do not know if you actually had a look into that, but if you are uh, keen, I can show you that. Any questions so far? Thank you. Thank you. All right. So I'll just go to my site and I'm going to tell some more things that I personally faced as a challenge. So with lovable, another thing, a lot of people struggle with credits to use a tool. Like if you want to use a tool, lovable gives 5 credits, which is like I don't know, it's not sufficient. If you want to build something, you need good amount of credits. And in fact, I was using other tools, quite often running into credits ran out, and it just like another blocker to continue working. A couple of things that I did was, there is this guy called Lenny. I don't know if you heard about him, uh, but I learned a lot of things from Lenny, and he offers a product pass, but there is some subscription. His content is great, and I think it is worth it. And he offers like 15 products, 1 year subscription, if like for free if you subscribe to his newsletter. I found it really valuable, and like I have N8 Chat PRD, Perplexity. I've used Perplexity, Lovable, Superhuman. I did not use Superhuman too much. Somehow I'm not really comfortable with giving access to my emails, but yeah, I think if people are keen, they can use Superhuman as well. I use Gamma as well for presentations. In fact, like I actually organize some sessions for rural school children, and whenever I am finding myself like struggling for time, Gamma is my go-to place because I can just ask Gamma to prepare presentations for me. In fact, like yesterday I had one, I was running short of time. I just like went to Gamma and then asked it to create a small slide so I can guide them, and it just like helped me create, and I could yeah, I could explain these things to the students, and it was quite helpful, especially when you are trying to do some things on your own. As a founder, I found this thing very challenging to do, too many things, and struggling to find time, but somehow AI is helping me. And Lovable, the website that I designed, I am quite like for the very first time I designed my own website. It looks like this. If you are actually you want to check it out, my site is calitrix.com. There is a reason why I named it that way. It's inspired by kaleidoscope. I am all in for diversity, and people have various opportunities. They just need to find the right opportunity for them. So that's the inspiration I have. And I am also planning to do some Maven courses. So this site kind of like is my uh, window where people can know more about me. And this is something I designed and deployed into my own domain. To me, it feels like I am happy. And you can also like come up with your own thoughts. Like if you have something you want to do, you can give it a try. So, before I came up with this website, I did a lot of research, like how should I design my site. And in fact, I kind of like used AI Studio. If I, hmm, I hope I'm not showing something personal, but basically, I used Google AI Studio for generating my logo, this thing. Logo design was also a time consuming thing for me, but I took some ideas from Nano Pro, and I found it quite useful because even Canva couldn't, like, I use Canva as well. I struggled to get the right kind of logo that I was looking for. And yeah, basically, I did brainstorm about this logo design, and I did a lot of iterations and finally settled on something like colors and everything. And so I did a lot of brainstorming for this. Yeah. For how to open a company, where to register, and all these things. I did research a lot. And basically, Perplexity is another tool where you can do research. These are all natural language conversations. Like you can type in the things that you want to do research. Uh, yeah, I was doing some research in the next few years and what skills should early career professionals master. Perplexity is a place where people rely on accurate and detailed research to be done, market analysis or competitor analysis, and you can use Perplexity in, uh, to do any kind of research. So, Chat PRD again. All these tools, like at some point, I felt like I'm using so many tools and realized that I have been using so many tabs on my Google. Like in the past, I used to have tons of tabs and it only got worse now. It's like, I mean, this is not sustainable. Like if you are switching from one tool to another and not having a proper toolkit for yourself, it's difficult. This is where people are coming with their own thing, calling it as operating system. Basically, you figured out what tools you need for your day-to-day work, like what you're using for your regular needs. So it's during the exploration phase that you realize that you are sticking to some tools more often than any other tool, and then you actually form your own personal toolkit. And I think as a startup for me, this was still okay, like fragmented tools, it's working out. But if you are working in a company where you are collaborating with other teams, this is not going to be an efficient way of working. Like you can't switch between one tool and another because there is still some artifacts, like if you are giving the PRDs or like prototypes to another designer or developer, there are some artifacts you are transferring from one stage to another. There should be some kind of standard ways of doing it. The fragmented tooling is not going to work out efficiently in companies where teams have to collaborate together. That is one of the challenges companies are like facing now. Like there should be some kind of ecosystem. I think Google, Amazon Web Services, Microsoft, like they have ecosystems which provide various tools catering to different capabilities of AI. In the end, like I think companies will end up using such ecosystems. And if you are trying to master any tool, it's always good to get better with Google ecosystem or Amazon or Microsoft. I think these are big players in the in this whole ecosystem space. So yeah, the other challenge that I had was like when I published my domain, I had my own domain. Like instead of the lovable site, like you would have this uh, lovable site. This is actually something you can use for public sharing as well. But Since I had my own domain, that is calitrix.com, I had to move my code into GitHub, this GitHub. So again, like after putting the things into GitHub, I had to execute the code, make sure that it is running without any issues. And initially, I ran into a lot of security issues, critical security issues, and I did not want to publish it in my domain with security issues. I couldn't get Visual Studio to solve those problems initially. I was using this agent, Copilot agent, but it wasn't very efficient in resolving the issues. Cursor actually solved those without too much of my intervention. Like I asked it to solve problems, it was giving clear details, like something failed and there was some CSS configuration errors. It figured out what was the issue and solved it by itself, and it made it so easy for me to fix the security issues. I did not have to deal too much with it. But again, I had to switch between GitHub, Cursor, Visual Studio Code. These things were possible and okay for me because I come from a little technical background. I don't think product managers, product designers can easily switch between these tools, especially the developer friendly tools. So we cannot say that product managers can just also do like product building, using prototypes and pushing the changes to GitHub. I don't think that is that easy. And leadership needs to understand these constraints so that they are not putting too much pressure or expectations on people which are not their core strengths. This coding part is the core strength of a developer. Prototyping it, it's fine, but debugging issues and fixing them, even though the agents are doing it, it's still something that needs some kind of technical expertise. So someone who is doing it understands this, but it can be a blind spot for leadership teams. They need to be aware of these things and listen to the struggles that people are facing with these tools as well, and not assume that some tool is working good for someone means that it's good for everyone. So again, individually we need to have that agency to try and find the challenges and educate about these to others. And if there is something you are missing, you can always learn, or make sure that someone is not setting up unreasonable expectations on particular roles. Like I think product managers are going through a huge um, uh, cognitive load of learning tools and technical stuff. How much should they learn? I think these are overwhelming a lot of people. All right. Any questions? Today, I just covered the theory, but at some point, if interested, like I can deep dive into any tools. But today's focus was trying to bridge the gap between strategy and execution and providing a framework so that there is some alignment in the AI first workforce. So if there is anything else, like any questions, I can take them now.
So, team, any questions you want to put in chat or want yourself to be unmuted? Please let me know.
I just realized I just ran out. Uh, I hope it's okay.
Yeah. Uh, so, okay. So, so thank you. Kiran, I think we got a lot of critical insights, and I think today's session is also a kind of a myth buster for various trends that we see, and we feel that everybody is now going to take over and do. And I really resonate with the Ferrari analogy that you gave, that it is not that every tool is uh, applicable and available everywhere, and that is the reason that we see that there is a lot of hype and a lot of failures because everybody has jumped onto this bandwagon without actually understanding what it takes and what it will require in future as well, right?
Yeah.
So thank you very much. I really appreciate your time, effort, and especially joining us today, even despite having a very hectic day today. So grateful, and we look forward to host you sometime near soon.
Yeah, thank you so much for the opportunity. And this is the very first time I talked about this framework, and I was working on it over the past couple of months, like doing my own research. And like it's just there is a lot more refinement happening, but you all got the first glimpse of it. Thank you.
Right. Thank you.
Thank you so
Thank you
much.
so very much, Kiran. And
Yeah,
thank you everyone for staying up more than the time allocated time. But I think it was resonating well with people and they found value. And that is the reason they did not mind staying for a longer time today. So thank you
yes,
very
thank you so
much.
much.
Thank you, everyone. Okay,
Thanks.
Kiran. Thank you. Take
Yes.
care. Bye
Bye. Have a
bye.
good one. Bye.
You too. Bye.